True. Like, that's why when I get my new man, I'm going to be careful, Darius. I promise. I'm not going to have...
You look like we'll be on For My Man then. Look like there'll be a new episode of For My Man if that's the case.
You mean Snap, the man version.
Unacceptable!
Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today I am here to do a follow-up video because a few months back there was an incident that happened involving KeKe Palmer and her boyfriend Darius Jackson and Usher, and we talked about it on my channel, of course. And you know, I apologize for the lighting. I'm struggle lighting, okay? It's gonna cast a little bit of a shadow, but I think this is a little bit better than before. A few months back, there was an incident involving KeKe Palmer, Darius Jackson, and Usher, okay? And if you're not familiar with that, you can go watch the other video, okay? Because we're not gonna talk too much about that situation today, but pretty much when I dropped that video, I was talking about how this man is a walking red flag, and we should not be taking these things lightly, okay? When men or women are showing these traits, we cannot ignore them. And that's pretty much what happened with this situation. By the end of the video, I say she needs to leave him because the cat was out of the bag at this point, because he was talking on his Twitter from before they were together, and it was exposed that he was a Trump supporter, a police brutality enthusiast. Like, I don't even know what to call him. He was very outspoken, talking about different issues that affect the black community, but he was not on our side, despite the fact that he is half black. The reason that I'm doing this follow-up video is because yesterday the news broke that KeKe Palmer filed for sole and legal custody of her child with Darius Jackson. She also put out a statement that said that he attacked her, that she has video footage of the attack from, I think it was 2 days prior, so on November 5th. He stole her phone, and she also alleged that he has in the past been physically violent with her, emotionally abusive, and also that he's threatened to harm himself if she were to ever leave him. Are we surprised? Absolutely not. Now, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm a little upset because it is Friday and I had no intentions on working today. I had no intentions on coming up in front of this camera. But after last night, I was like, I have to film today because this is breaking news. And I done told y'all, okay? I warned you guys about this man. Once the first situation happened, I was like, yeah, no. Because one thing about it is any man that is controlling down to what you're wearing is gonna be problematic in more ways than one. So of course, because KeKe filed for sole and legal custody of Leotis, the internet was in an uproar. A few months back, when the first situation happened, I had actually said in my video that it reminds me of Bad Girls Club or reality TV, where if there's like a competition like America's Next Top Model, sometimes you'll be able to predict who's gonna go home based on how much camera time they have. And so I started to feel like these two are getting a lot of camera time recently. Like, they were very much under the radar. KeKe popped the baby out, and then we just keep hearing about them. At first, it wasn't negative things that we were hearing, but then we started to hear negative things after the Usher situation happened, or when the Usher situation happened. And so at that point, because KeKe is our cousin in our mind, child, we are all ready to defend her, as we should. KeKe never addressed the situation too. She made like a funny video about it, but like, or like a dancing video, but like she never really addressed the situation and like put out a statement after all the drama happened. But in September, I think her birthday's in September. She's a Virgo. So in September or August, one of them 2 months, girl, it was her birthday. And on her birthday, her and her baby daddy were out. And at that point, we realized, oh my God, she didn't leave him. I was personally like, oh God, child, it's gonna be a long road, okay? It's gonna be a long damn road, because I obviously came out of a horrible domestic situation, and I also have children, and I know what that looks like from the inside. And so as I was watching her situation, I was like praying that she would leave, you know, because once the abuser is exposed, it only gets worse. And granted, she is not the one that exposed him. He exposed himself when he hopped on Twitter and dragged her for her outfit. The amount of flack that he got online after the fact, if you've been in that situation before, you can sense or know that she is going to be the one that pays for him getting obliterated online, you know. It's going to be her fault, based on that personality type. We'll call it that, because obviously I cannot diagnose this man. I mean, I can. I can, but I can't. You know what I mean? I am not a licensed professional, right? But we can call a spade a spade. We can call a psychopath, okay? The signs were there, and I was seeing them very clearly. And my hope, like I said, was that she would leave him. But once she posted on her birthday, I was like, this girl ain't left this man. Oh my God. Okay, you know, it wasn't even a situation where you could be like, if you like it, I love it, because I don't like domestic violence. I don't like abuse, emotional abuse, no kind of abuse. You know, nobody, men or women alike, should be put through that kind of trauma. People can only leave when they're good and ready. Sometimes you gotta get pushed to your limit before you walk out the door. Other times you don't even get to, because somebody decides they're gonna take your life away from you if you try to leave. Now, I would be doing everybody a disservice if I didn't bust out the power and control wheel for this video, because Darius Jackson is exhibiting some of the things on the power and control wheel. And I am not surprised, because like I said, the signs were there. The signs are there that he is abusive. KeKe Palmer is the perfect example of it can happen to anybody. KeKe Palmer is established, okay? She is a successful black woman. You know, she has a career. She gets to the bag. She has multiple talents. She wears multiple hats. And when I did that video, the first video, I was like, this man came out of nowhere, okay? His brother is an actor, as we know. He's on Insecure. We'll get into his brother in a little bit. This guy came out of nowhere. And I had mentioned in the video as well that when I found out how they met and that she approached him, it was a recipe for disaster, because when you look at Darius and then pull up his tweets, it was very clear that this is not a man that would naturally gravitate towards a woman like KeKe Palmer, outside of the wallet, of course. But it was very clear to me that this is not a man that likes dark-skinned women. This is not a man that even likes black women. And if he does like black women, they're not fully black, you know? And so I could tell that from a mile damn away. She approached him. That's how they got together. But like I said, that is a recipe for a disaster. In the interview with, I think, Terrell, she had stated that Darius fit the physical build. But the physical build is never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. You can't just look at somebody and be like, oh, they're so attractive, I'm going to build a life with them. It has to go deeper than that. And she didn't do her due diligence to vet him properly before creating a life with him, you know? And so, you know, maybe he's a sweet talker. Maybe he said all the right things, you know? Maybe she didn't think that he was a Trump supporter. Maybe he hid it well, you know? And then the mask slipped off later. But by the time the mask slips off, you already pregnant, girl. You're already pregnant. You're like, I'm just going to make do with what I got. I'm going to make the best of a crappy situation. And she probably also, being the Virgo that she is, probably thought she had some power there and could change his view or, you know, educate him out of his ignorance. But baby, some people are born bred and just stay ignorant, you know? That's just how it is for some people. We have to stop taking on people as projects, as fixer-uppers. I said it in the last video. This is not HGTV, okay? Home and Garden TV, it's not that. We're not doing buying a house for $10,000 and flipping it to $200,000. It's not happening, okay? Not in this damn economy with these damn men in this damn dating pool. It's not giving that for us. So from you have a little bit of money, honey, okay, from you got a little bit of quati, as my mom would like to call it, and the man does not, baby, leave him where he at, okay? You need you somebody that is established and doesn't need to use you for anything or be tempted to use you for anything because you're more established than them, because that also leaves room for jealousy, which we could clearly see he was jealous of her or jealous in general. And a jealous man is a scary thing, okay? If you live through that, then you know what I'm talking about. A jealous man is a very scary thing because you will be working your butt off and he will sit there with his long hands and long belly and tell you that you ain't, you know what? And who has time for that? Because he feels inferior to you, right? And so this situation with KeKe and Darius is obviously very sad, but like, who didn't see this coming after the last incident? Now, why she didn't leave? Maybe because she was scared or fearful. As she said, he had been threatening before to unalive if she ever were to leave him, which is crazy because let the lady leave, man. Like, what if you are being so problematic that somebody wants to leave you? You can't be threatening to unalive yourself. You're trying to guilt them into staying with you. Like, that's crazy. But that's also a manipulation that is on the power and control wheel. And this is not uncommon. This is very common. Other people will threaten to throw their life away. They may not say unalive, but they will say other things like go commit a crime and get themselves in trouble and, you know, go to jail. That's what I experienced. It's like sometimes when you're in that situation, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. After a while, you have to realize this ain't it. And so obviously, by the time that we saw this situation happen, they were already separated some way or another. And he was obviously not welcome in her home because the statement that she puts out let us know that he was intruding. You know, he broke into her home, whooped her, stole her phone. Does that sound like somebody that was welcome? Like, no, it's not. I don't give a damn what we're arguing about. That is crazy. At your home, you're supposed to feel safe. But when you're dealing with somebody like what we're seeing right now, home doesn't feel safe, you know? And so obviously, as soon as I saw this news break yesterday, I was like, yeah, she gotta move. She can't just move up the street, honey. She gotta move. Like, she needs to move and him not know where she stays, regardless of the fact that they have a child. Because the thing about it is, once the news broke that she filed for sole and legal custody of the child, the first thing that this crazy man did was hop on Twitter and address baby Leotis that has no Twitter, that cannot read, okay, probably can't barely hold his head up by himself. Like, your son does not have Twitter, sir, so who are you talking to? And it was actually quite triggering for me to see all of this go down. The fact that he was on Twitter, I mean, they just seem to love Twitter, child. I don't know what it is with these damn crazy men at this Twitter, but he posted a picture of him and the baby. The caption was, "I love you, son. See you soon." Girl, that in itself was very telling. It was just so telling of what kind of circus this man is about to put on. I don't know how domestic violence cases are handled in LA. I did inquire, but where I'm from, the police have full discretion, which means that once you go to the police and tell them, "Hi, this is what's happened. I need a restraining order," the police are like, "Okay, bet." And you can't renege. You cannot take it back, right? So the police press the charges because a lot of the time women in domestic situations will renege and be like, stay with their abuser, or be like, "No, I changed my mind. I don't want to press the charges." And so depending on where you live, they will oblige you. But where I live, they don't oblige you. Right? So once you say it and you tell them, they do their investigation and then they press the charges and then you get your restraining order. In LA, I think it may be similar. Everywhere is different. And so because of that, he may easily bond out, you know, get bail, and then be on the attack again. And because he knows he's under pressure now and under scrutiny and vengeful, possibly, right? That is when they strike again, and they strike for permanent damage. That's what happens in these cases. If you watch TV, you will know this is how it goes. Because these men are operating in pure demonic lunacy, okay? They do not care about the children. They do not care about the woman. They care more about the fact that they've been exposed. Even if they accidentally exposed themselves, they care more about that. And now, how do I get revenge on the woman? How do I ruin her life or her family's life, you know? And they plot and they scheme. And so in this case, because he has been physically violent, because he's threatened her, because he has threatened to harm himself if she were to ever leave, and clearly she's left, at this point, if they put him in custody and then release him on bail, what do we think he's gonna go and do? Possibly, right? Harm her, you know, get his revenge. Because if he is now feeling like, F it, my life is over anyway, or if he feels like he has so much control because she thought she could leave, he gonna make her leave permanently, and then we have a murder on our hands. Like, baby, I was so concerned about the baby, because the fact that he posted that picture on Twitter told a lot. Like, it really did. Like, I mean, if you know, you know. He gave me those vibes that he's one of those people that will take matters into his own hands in the worst possible way and do something to the child because KeKe has decided she don't want to be with him, and she has filed for this sole and legal custody of the baby, which means that he will actually not be a part of the child's life. And because of that, the vengefulness will be real. Because people like this have no accountability, right? They have no accountability. They don't see the wrong in their actions. They don't understand. Girl, they over there doing maintenance, taking my light away. They don't understand that somebody would only want to leave you if you were being nasty or abusive toward them. And so as a person that is being abused, you have the right to... How did I know this was going to happen today? You have the right to leave. Child, the patent went out. They feel like they are entitled to you, right? And so when you decide that you're going to leave them, they don't like that. And because they have no accountability and they don't recognize that they've done you wrong as to why you want to get so far away from them, they will do whatever. They have no reasoning skills, right? So they don't reason with you to be like, I've been violent towards you. You are not feeling safe. You don't want me to be around the child because I've harmed you in front of the child. They don't recognize this as, ooh, praise the Lord Jesus. They don't recognize this as piss poor behavior. They don't recognize it as abusive. They don't see anything wrong with what they do. They just lack accountability, period. And so you leaving them puts salt in a wound that was there before you even got there. And that's why I say leave these fixer-uppers alone, because it's not worth it, right? If y'all think it's a game, it's really not. Having a child with the wrong person will ruin your life. It has nothing to do with tradition, having a baby out of wedlock or not, okay? Because it's plenty of people on this earth that are just normal and can break up and co-parent. And then there are situations where it's not possible because of whatever happened in the home prior to the breakup, okay? You know, in the video, I touched on that as well. I said, you know, hopefully they'll be able to just co-parent. But you can't co-parent with a psychopath. And the proof is in the pudding. Because after yesterday, I decided I needed a certain clip from her podcast. the clip with her mom, which we're going to talk about as well. I needed a clip for her podcast, so I said, you know what, let me watch the whole episode. Baby, glad I did. Glad I did and didn't just try to skim through it, because KeKe got to talking about the show For My Man. I actually have seen this episode, so when she was talking about it, I was like, oh my gosh. She was saying that, you know, there was an episode of For My Man where this Christian girl whose father was a pastor used to like go to the jail or whatever and work with the criminals at the jail. And so he thought that one of the men in the jail were reformed, right? And they were working on themselves and they were a good person, and he encouraged his daughter to go and be with this man once he got out of the jail. Baby, big mistake. Big freaking mistake. That episode was really actually very tragic. She was talking about it, and she then made a joke to Darius about like if she ever has to like bring another man or another somebody around their child. And then Darius had a joke too. Only this man was not joking. Okay? He was not joking.
True. Like, that's why when I get my new man, I'm going to be careful, Darius. I promise. I'm not going to have...
It look like we'll be on For My Man then. Look like there'll be a new episode of For My Man if that's the case.
You mean Snap, the man version.
And so they're all in there kikiing and laughing about it. But what's gagging me is now that we have these details, he's abusive and been abusive even while she was with child, because her mom is alleging that she went to Darius's brother over a year ago about the boy being abusive. And like I said, we'll talk about it in a minute. But Darius made this joke and threatened her on camera. Said that she would go end up being on For My Man for real. And they're laughing about it. And it's just like, okay, I get it. Dark humor, I get it. But now that we know that he's actually abusive, it's not funny. It wasn't funny when he said it to begin with, but it's definitely not funny now. But she ends up correcting him and saying not For My Man, but Snapped, the male edition. Now, something that really upset me yesterday was when KeKe's mom entered the chat, okay? It upset me because when Summer Walker's situation happened and they were doing the podcast, which is the same podcast that I watched this morning, her mom stated in that segment, you don't talk about your man, and you don't talk about your money. You don't discuss your man with nobody, and you don't discuss the money with anybody. So when she got online yesterday addressing Sharonis, because Sharonis got online first, mind you, and he made a very cryptic tweet and then deleted it because he was probably getting dragged. The most disgusting, vile, abusive, manipulated person I have ever encountered in my entire life, ... abuses almost everyone. Y'all will see, ... just send positive energy to the babies. Any child in the middle of something like this does not deserve it at all. Wow, so damn sad. And he deleted it. But like, we couldn't tell if he was talking about his own brother, or if he was talking about KeKe, or he's talking about KeKe mama. We didn't know who he was talking about. But once he tweeted this mess, KeKe's mom jumped on the internet and said her 2 cents. But it pissed me off that she even did that, okay? Because you are not helping the situation, mama, okay? And let me tell you why. Because you were kikiing with this man at the damn podcast. You were kikiing with him, talking about he gonna end up on Snapped if KeKe bring another man around there. They were broken up. Kikiing with him in another clip saying that he was your type, but these are after you have known that he's been abusive. I get it from the standpoint of she's her mother, but it would have been much better if she would have just stayed quiet, because you were not acting like anybody that's daughter was being abused. And to be sat there on the podcast with him, because if you are a mom and you have witnessed this man be physically abusive towards your daughter, or abusive in any way, and your daughter comes to you, you don't then sit up on the podcast and tell her you don't discuss your man and you don't discuss your money. And it's not a thing where it's taken out of context either, because at that point she was fully aware that her daughter was in an abusive situation. That's not the advice you give, regardless of the context.
My mother used to say, you don't have to discuss your man or your money.
Sometimes it's just like...
You don't have to discuss your man or your money.
To a woman in an abusive situation, because a lot of women in abusive situations do not come forward. Okay, they do not tell their family what's going on in their house because it's embarrassing. They're scared. They've been threatened already. They don't want to be in trouble with their partner. Their partner has already told them they're not allowed to discuss whatever's going on in their house. You know, if you've experienced this, then you know there are rules to dating these kinds of people, and they don't want anybody to form an opinion about them. They play nice in front of the family, but they're not playing nice behind closed doors. And obviously, if you are sat there still being supportive in the public eye, doing the podcast, when you know that he's been abusive towards your daughter, and then later on say that you went to the brother a year ago and the brother pretty much told you he used to be like that too, as if it were like a phase that he was going through, I think it's a little problematic, and mama should have stayed out of it.
I'm not talking to nobody.
I get it. It was in the heat of the moment. She felt like she needed to speak, and so she did. But I just don't feel like she helped the situation at all. Sharonis also did not help the situation. And after KeKe's mom said something, Sharonis then hopped in the comments on Instagram and again addressed KeKe's mom, and it's very much giving that he is sticking beside his brother, taking up for his brother instead of just staying silent and staying out of it. And so people were in the comments responding to him like, the photos have already leaked of the surveillance footage. Now, I was in my Discord when the news broke. Matter of fact, one of my Discord friends brought it to our attention that it even happened, and then I went to go read about it. When I saw that they said they have surveillance footage, I said TMZ gonna drop that footage by 12 a.m. or by tomorrow, but it's coming out. Baby, 2 hours later they were dropping pictures. TMZ didn't drop the pictures, and they dropped somewhere else. I don't even know where they dropped, girl, but I went and I saw the pictures from the surveillance footage. They were just still shots. The pictures were enough for me because this lady was getting dragged over her damn couch. And it doesn't matter what he was dragging her over the couch for, because he shouldn't have been touching her, period. Right? And so, at this point, the brother needs to pack it up. We don't want to hear nothing from you. We never want to hear anything from him to begin with, because, sir, you ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And her mom wouldn't have hopped online either if his brother never said anything, obviously, because she was addressing him. Why would you get online and say anything? Like, just stay out of it. Like, it's already so messy. There is a baby involved. It's too much. Like I said, he responded in the comment sections to KeKe's mom. I never once said that to Sharon. Not once in my life. I have never been abusive to any of the women I ever been involved with. I'm not going to keep on with this circus. But Sharon, the world is about to hear your voice very soon. And the threats you made to my family. Be well, everyone. I know it's easy to get caught up in this, but make no mistake that all of this is very sad. He read about one thing, it's very sad, but why would Sharon be threatening your family if Darius wasn't putting his hands on her daughter and they wasn't getting their son whatever help they needed to get him? I don't understand why she went to the brother and not the parents. I don't know where his parents are at. And it's a grown man. She shouldn't be going to nobody but to the source. Realistically, it's too many damn hands in this pot. But I don't really see what Sharonis could do or could have done, like, even a year ago. Whenever the abuse started, I don't really know what he could have done. Like, was he supposed to talk to his brother? Like, I'm not really sure what angle she wanted him to approach the situation, because when somebody is abusive, they're abusive. Nobody can talk to somebody or talk somebody out of being abusive if that's who they are, if that's their natural character, if they have mental health issues that have been unresolved for a long time. Nobody can talk somebody out of being abusive. It's not a thing. I'm not really sure what KeKe's mom's intent was when she went to his brother, or maybe she was just seeing, is this how he is this how he's always been with women? Like, maybe she was just seeing, I don't know. She didn't get nowhere, and you know, KeKe stayed with this boy despite the fact that he was beating on her or doing whatever he was doing in their home. Pregnant, not pregnant, it doesn't matter, because it should have never been happening to begin with. What Sharonis did by hopping on Twitter and tweeting what he tweeted was very much giving guilt. Okay, it was giving narcissism 101, much like the picture that his brother posted with the baby. Okay, that's what their actions are portraying. Neither one of them are helping the situation. We're not buying it. What you're doing is very much what a narcissist would do. Hop online and shift the blame. She not dragging his ass over the couch. He dragged her over the couch. She didn't steal his phone. He broke into her house. No matter how you spin it, he's in the wrong. If you're not welcome somewhere, you're not welcome there, period. And if you've been abusive to somebody, you don't have a right to just go into their home or their space and make them feel uneasy or unsafe. You don't get to tell somebody they can't leave you, and you don't get to punish them for leaving either. Dealing with somebody that's been abusive towards you in any way is hard. And it's worse when you are now trapped because you have procreated with them. And you know, a lot of the time you don't see fully how problematic somebody is until after that happens, which is crazy. But it's because naturally, after you become a mother, your instincts, your maternal instincts for some people, kick in, and you know, you look at the world differently once you become a parent, right? And so, you know, things that you may have accepted before, you cannot accept anymore because you realize your child's going to witness it. Or, you know, that was a big thing for me. I was like embarrassed, and I was just like, this is not what I want my children to see, and couldn't allow that anymore. The other thing is, it's so easy to judge people and be like, couldn't be me, or I would have left after this incident, I would have left after that incident. You know, if KeKe's never been in a serious relationship before, or she's not experienced, you know, master manipulation or abuse of any sort, or if she's not witnessed abuse in her home, you don't really know what abuse looks like for the next person. I had no idea what emotional abuse was until I was living in it, right? And I didn't even know what it was until I came out of it, you know what I mean? And so it's easy to judge people and be like, that boy could not have done that to me, blah, blah, blah. But you really don't know until you're faced with the situation what you would put up with or not. It takes a woman that is in an abusive situation 7 attempts on average, right, to leave their abuser. And based on the statement that KeKe put out, she has obviously tried to leave him before. And so then when you add manipulation to the situation, and the person that's abusing you is either swearing they're going to change, or it's not going to happen again, or they're threatening to unalive, then you are burdened with that, right? And so you can't say what you would or would not do because you have not been in KeKe's shoes there throughout the whole relationship, or through the gaslighting where it's glimmers of good behavior and you think everything is honky damn dory, and it's damn not. And so I think we should be mindful of that, because a lot of women think, couldn't be me. Even men think, couldn't be me, until it's them. I had a thought earlier and I didn't get to finish the thought, so let me finish it now before I forget again. Earlier I had said having a baby or a child with the wrong person can ruin your life, will ruin your life. Obviously, if you guys are new here, you have not seen my content with that situation, I encourage you to go and watch it. But where KeKe is concerned, this girl is a Disney star, okay? She grew up both Disney and Nickelodeon. So we have a child star on our hands. And what do we know about the kids that grow up in that environment? Most of them are messed up beyond repair, okay? She is a Disney / Nickelodeon star that has not had a scandal her entire career. She is a Disney star that is still working in big 2023, and she has a good head on her shoulders. Her parents did a really good job with her and keeping her safe in the Hollywood environment until this man came along. Once this man came along, that is when we see scandal. Having a child with the wrong person can ruin your life. Dating the wrong person can ruin your life, because you don't even have to have a child, okay? Because my life was ruined, child, long before I had kids. and I didn't clock. And even if I did clock it, I still wasn't like fully aware of what I had gone through or what I was going through. So as you see, the proof is in the pudding. You cannot just be laying down with anybody and having a baby with anybody, okay? Because the devil, the enemy, comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And a lot of these people are rooted in that spirit, okay? They are taking advantage of women. They're taking advantage of men. They seek to destroy your life, especially if they're walking around with the jealous spirit on them. Messing with the wrong person can ruin your life, okay? I went my whole entire life crime-free. I went my whole entire life before I met my ex. I had never even stolen like a candy bar. You know what I mean? Like, ever. And then this person comes in my life and just brings a hailstorm of crime, danger, okay? Like, literally, I could have been on one of them episodes of For My Man because I was young, dumb, and naive, right? And so it happens to the most unsuspecting of people. And KeKe is obviously no exception to this. I think it's pretty obvious what I would do if I were in KeKe's shoes, because quite frankly, I've been in her shoes. And so I don't blame her at all for trying to protect her child, because when the signs are there and you're in the relationship, you miss them, right? Or you ignore them, or you make excuses, or you trust that the person is going to do right by you eventually, or they make these empty promises, or a lot of the time they play on your vulnerability and your empathy, right? Because I don't know Darius Jackson's past, I don't know what his family dynamic is, or any problems that might have been there, but if he had a troubled childhood, if he's had even troubled relationships, and he was open with KeKe, and then he started to use it against her when she would try to leave and try to manipulate her by comparing her to his exes, just using his past as an excuse to be problematic or abusive, that would play a factor in why she stayed, because you get guilted into staying, or you genuinely feel unsafe and are like, okay, he's threatening me, like, what do? I have to protect myself one way or another. And if it's gotten physical already in the home and she is weighing her options, it's only a matter of time before she decides, okay, this is way too much. I'm KeKe Palmer. Baby, I'm KeKe Palmer. Like, she's going to eventually be like, yeah, no, pump the brakes. You need to get out of my house, right? Like, she has to do that. And then she has to maybe get security, extra security, a physical person with her all the time, or put up the security cameras. But security cameras actually add to your anxiety, and I'm speaking from experience here. They added to my anxiety. I actually wanted to hire a guardsman, like, for my front door. That's how unsafe I felt. And I was like, because I was making enough money to do that, it was on the table. But for the average person that's not able to hire armed security to stay at their house with them when at nighttime, like, what do you do when you're leaving a domestic violence situation? When we time and time again we see that, one, the laws ain't helping, okay? They do not protect you. A restraining order doesn't protect you. It doesn't. It's there, but, like, have you seen crime shows? The restraining order is there, and it's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. And half the time, it don't mean nothing. Whenever they violate the restraining order, they go to court, and then they don't keep them in the jail. They release them, they come out on bail, or they just get, like, conditions, or whatever the hell the case is, right? And then you are still left feeling unsafe, because now they're even more mad that you called and said that they violated the restraining order, and they're getting arrested, and they're putting the blame on you when they violated the restraining order. It's just a never-ending cycle. And it's like, you weigh these options, and you're like, okay, what's the lesser of two evils? Like, what do I do in this situation? And so I feel for KeKe 100%. I'm gonna go put some lashes on. I will be right back. You know, when stuff like this happens, obviously a lot of the time there are debates online about who is right, who is wrong. If somebody is lying, people are there saying that KeKe seems manipulative or vindictive, like she's doing this out of spite or something, which is absolutely crazy. Like I was saying before, we've never seen KeKe in a scandal. The only thing close to a scandal that we've seen is when she told us about Trey Songz making her uncomfortable and how she was hiding in a closet in the apartment. Which, if we looked at the turn of events that came after that allegation against Trey Songz, and everybody made fun of KeKe when that happened and nobody wanted to listen to her, well, look at Trey Songz now. Look how many women have come forth since KeKe stated what she stated, you know, and she didn't do it maliciously either. So KeKe don't talk a lot where like personal issues are concerned. She's not like that. And so when she does say something, it's crazy that people are going to be so quick to not believe her. And then on top of that, it's footage. The still shots, like I said, were enough for me to question the validity of what she is claiming happened. Is crazy because we don't know this girl to be a liar. We don't. All we know KeKe for is being jolly, funny, very much the life of the party. We don't know her to be a liar. Okay? So why people would be saying they don't believe her or whatever is just crazy to me. We don't know nothing about Darius. We seen his tweets. We have enough character reference to know that we can't put this shenanigan past him, okay? We have enough evidence there, you know. We have the controlling evidence there. And she didn't leave him even after he publicly shamed her. That should speak volumes as to what kind of person she is. There was nothing vindictive about her. Nothing about KeKe screams vindictive, so I can't believe people are over here saying that. Like, that's crazy to me. My therapist says the best predictor for future behavior is past behavior. Because naturally, some people are just repeat offenders, right? We have people that have accountability, so when they do something once and it gets them in a slew of trouble or just even a little bit of trouble, they learn their lesson, they move on, they don't do it again. But then you have people that have no accountability and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expect different results because they're crazy, okay? And crazy people exhibit crazy making behavior, and you can't put anything past them. One thing about it, they're going to try to look like the victim. Immediately after the news broke that she filed for sole custody, this man got on the internet and acted like a victim. Acted like he wasn't going to be able to see his child, but leaving out the key evidence or the key point that he's been abusive. One thing about it, these men that are abusive are going to get online and act like they're damn Job. Okay, act like they done lost it all, but leave out the fact that they are manipulative and just nasty and have traumatized their victims or their baby mama or their wife or whoever. If we reference Mr. Darius Jackson's tweets, and I brought this tweet up in the last video, his tweet said, I don't support domestic violence, but I don't support domestic violence, but bees are stupid. So I understand why these football players are getting in trouble. That's what he said on his own Twitter. Didn't nobody force him to tweet that. Didn't nobody put words in his mouth. We have not edited the tape, okay? We have not edited the tape. So how do we explain this now, sir? You do support domestic violence because you have participated in domestic violence. And now you want to throw rocks and hide your hands and act like you are innocent? Tweeting to baby Leotis? Like, sir. And so as you see, we were able to predict that this was not going to end well, because even in my last video, I talked about how the beginning of the relationship started off with turmoil because the ex-girlfriend had hopped on TikTok and said he forced her to get an abortion. Again, that is showing red flags. It is showing controlling behavior. It is showing manipulative behavior. And so the ex-girlfriend had alleged that he forced her to get an abortion and then popped out with KeKe Palmer 3 weeks later. Obviously, KeKe Palmer's relationship with this man went very fast as well, because one second she wasn't pregnant, next second she was, okay? And we were like, where did this man come from? And obviously we were happy for our good sis KeKe, because, you know, if she wants to become a mother, then that is her prerogative. And however she decided to go about doing that, that is her prerogative. But their relationship obviously did move very fast. And when you're being love bombed, or when you are in a relationship with somebody that is emotionally abusive, your relationship will move fast, because they have their motives and they're going to do boom, 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 and get you where they want you, trap you with a baby girl, whatever they have to do what they need, or to ensure that you're not going to leave them, they will do it. You can't put nothing past anybody, okay? So that is what we are seeing unfold here. And so because of the drama that happened at the beginning of their relationship, I already knew that the end of the relationship was going to be traumatic, or lots of turmoil as well, especially with the last thing that we saw. If we want to reference my relationship, what did you guys see? You guys didn't know anything that was going on behind the scenes prior to the cheating scandal. And once we had the cheating scandal, well, what followed, right? Even if it didn't follow soon after, it certainly could have been predicted. Like, y'all could have predicted that it was not going to end well, because I stayed after that crazy night. When you follow the situation from the very beginning, or if you've been watching me since before I even had children, like, you guys watched me grow up, to see it all unfold is very similar to watching KeKe grow up. We watched KeKe grow up, okay? We still refer to KeKe as Akila and the Bee, okay? Like, like, we watched KeKe grow up, and we see that she's had this wonderful career and this wonderful life, and then we watch her become a mom, and then all of a sudden things go downhill, right? Why is that? And so as black women, as successful black women, we have to have our guard up, okay? Steve Harvey didn't try to warn this lady, but, you know, the chips fall how they may, right? You cannot force somebody to see your point of view or see your side, even if you're looking out for them, their best interest, even if you're giving them constructive criticism and they don't want it. You know, you can only give somebody so much help. And so hindsight is always going to be 2020, okay? When she looks back at her situation now, when she looks back at it, she's going to see how many red flags she ignored, because now she's fully out of the situation and can look back and see. Obviously, after this, she's not going to go back to him. This is crazy, right? Like, now that he's been exposed as abusive and she is who she is, this is the end for them. There is no going back after this, obviously, right? And so for me, in 2020, when the scandal happened, I thought that I would be too embarrassed to stay. I was trying to leave for a while and couldn't leave. And I thought that if I posted that, right, as it was happening, that I would leave. But I still didn't get to leave. So you really just don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And, you know, obviously, like I said, I saw that this was not going to end well, and so I made the video, and I hoped and prayed that she would leave him, but then she popped out with him, and then now we're here. And so obviously my prayers are with KeKe and her baby, and I just pray that they remain safe and that she realizes God is her refuge, God is her shield, her fortress, and he is going to protect her in this next phase of her life. It is so important as women to protect yourself and guard yourself and stay prayed up, okay? It's not a game out here. It's not a game. The only reason that I am sitting here before you is because of prayer, and that's on period, okay? All glory to God, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am a walking miracle. You know, my life, my testimony is a miracle, and it's only because of the grace of God. And my prayer is that KeKe has that same anointing on her life, because he vindicated her before with Trey songs, and he gonna vindicate her again. So do not be sitting up on Beyonce's internet and saying that KeKe is lying on this man, because that is absolutely asinine. Anyway, you guys, tell me your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.